Sup, people? It's your boy, Casual Talk here. Now, the part one video to dealing with ignorant ghetto black neighbors, I've gotten a lot of views on that video quick, and I didn't expect to get that much views within the first 2 hours. So, I guess I brought a lot of attention to myself. So this is part two. This is going to be a follow-up to continue my rant, my stories, and take it from there. Now, as you can see, the reason why I'm showing my face to face, I'm a brother, black. Parents are black. Most of my family is black. Kids are black. Wife is black. It don't matter. We all gonna die the same. We all gonna bleed the same. I'm just one of those brothers where I know how it's like to be on both sides of the fence. I just think like that. I think outside the box. I'm realistic. I'm not trying to be on one side and be against the other, because at the exact same time, breathing hate is only going to breathe more hate. So I believe any enemy or enemies that I make, any hate that I get, I'm not going to throw it back at you. My response is going to be out of respect for myself, to others, out of love, and for God. That's what I believe in. Now, I've dealt with white ghetto neighbors, Hispanic ghetto neighbors. That's one of the worst experiences I also had for having neighbors. What else? It was mainly white, Hispanic, and black. Some Asian, and it was not many, but most of the stories that I got, all the drama, black, white, Hispanic. The only reason why the topic is around black, ghetto, ignorant people, okay? Just ghetto black people in general. It says it right there. Ghetto, ignorant, black people. The news media, you can say all you want about it, but there's a lot of truth to stereotypes. There's a lot of truth to stereotypes. From the first video, I was just straight up venting and telling you a real life stories, real life circumstances, real life experiences on the things that I'm currently going through or what I went through. Now, just to continue from here, the same neighbors across the street from me, same Pookie and Ray that got a problem with me since day one, and it's about to be 3 years that I've lived in this same exact house, Somerville, South Carolina. Nice neighborhood. Nice homes. I thought it was family friendly. I was like, man, and the black people that I've seen there, a lot of them I don't really see like that no more. I don't know. Either they moved out or they disappeared. I don't know what happened. I don't know. I just like seeing everybody just get along. No drama, no ghetto, no friction, nothing. I don't do drama. I'm in my early 30s right now. Even when I was in my early 20s, people would call me, hey, you're mature for your age. You're real mature for your age. Because I know some of the things that I want out of life. Peace. Don't you want peace? Life shouldn't be filled with drama. And the worst thing that anybody could ever go through is going home and dealing with ghetto neighbors. And the most experience that I've had was with ghetto black neighbors. I'm from Brooklyn, New York. I'm from the hood. I know how it's like to go into projects and I have to pray to God that I don't get jumped. This is what I had to deal with almost every single day. Going to school. Coming home from school. I was cool with a lot of the dudes and the Pookies and Ray Rays that was hanging out in the block, hanging out in front of the building, the project building that I used to live in. It was just me and my mom. After all my sisters moved out, it was just me and my mom. My sisters, I'm not proud to say this, had a street reputation of, I think, being in a gang. I don't know. I didn't really ask too much history behind two of my sisters that were in the streets. I've heard, the only thing I heard was that they got into fights, especially one of my youngest oldest sisters. She had the most beef and fights. She was like a target. And she would always talk about the people that she effed up, the people that she had fights with. And she got that rep. She had that recognition. And people found out that I was her little brother. I'm the youngest siblings out of all my three sisters. I'm the youngest. So I'm the baby to my mom. So going back to the story of this, just to continue from there, when I was in Brooklyn, New York, I was like 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17 years old, just growing up until I was like in my early 20s before I moved out. This is what I had to go through. Ignorant, ghetto, black neighbors. And there was times where the building that I used to live in the projects changed so much where there were times where the door will be broken. That's how bad it is. People would bust the door open. No security there. There will be graffiti on the walls, pee on the floor, garbage on the floor. And there was times where I had to say, excuse me, to some of the Pookies and Ray Rays. Yes, Pookies and Ray Rays, hoodlums, straight up hood dudes. They're in front of the steps. That takes you to the second, third, and fourth floor. Because there was no elevators. And I don't even know if there's any elevators till this day. And I believe they're probably not going to ever build any. That's how old the building is. It's the projects. I had to always say, excuse me, sorry, brother, pardon me. Because that's how rough it was for me. I had to pray I didn't get jumped. I didn't mess with nobody. I didn't get robbed. And there were times that I almost got jumped and I almost got robbed. Dealing with my own ghetto black people. And I'm talking about black neighbors right now. See, so dealing with ignorant ghetto people, it's nothing new to me. I've dealt with this since childhood. I had to say, excuse me. I had to say, pardon me. There was gangs and dudes that was always hanging out in the front, playing dice, smoking weed. The hallways will be filled with weed. There were times that I've seen condoms. Same building I used to live in with my mom. Thank God I left the hood. My mom, the last time I spoke with my mom, she told me that, you know, the area is changing. Not so much, but that's what I think. But she said that the building has been changing. She don't go out like that, though. But at night, that's when I know most cases it will get crazy. It's because of what I've seen. I've dealt with Hispanic neighbors that traumatized me and my wife. And I was the only breadwinner. I got worried about my wife whenever I went to work. Both of my kids were about 1 year old and 2 years old. We were in this apartment with these Hispanic neighbors in upstate New York for maybe about 8-9 months. We didn't even last a year. Right when the lease was when it was time for the lease to get renewed, we didn't renew it. We moved right there. We went down south, South Carolina, because my wife was like, hey, you know, she made a suggestion. Hey, why don't we just go down south? Why don't we move to South Carolina? Because I mainly grew up from there. I was like, cool. I never been there before. Let's move there. And I'm just going to go a little bit into detail with the story that I had with the Hispanic neighbors. They never spoke to me. I had a problem with the hood dude. He was bringing girls in and out of his apartment. We were at the top floor. They were at the bottom. There was one time we're watching TV and somehow they connected their device while my wife and I are watching TV, and the only thing I hear, it got quiet. All I hear was laughing. They just laughed that they were messing with us. See, I'm smart. I know which fights to pick. Because most of the time, dealing with ghetto people, they're going to know other ghetto people. Dealing with ghetto people, they will know other ghetto people. They're going to be associated with other ghetto people. So I know, and I always still have the right mind to be like, I'm very careful with the battles that I pick and choose. Because I do not want, the last thing I want is to get locked up, possibly get killed, possibly get shot, no longer here, and then my wife is left to fend for herself. And then my kids is left wondering like, why? All because I wanted to prove somebody else wrong. Out of 2 seconds of their ignorance, 20 seconds of their ghetto drama, their attitudes. I don't do drama for that very reason. I move smart, not dumb. I don't got no criminal records. This is not to brag. But from what I've heard from other hood dudes, some of them actually bragged on having a criminal past, having criminal records. And there's women out there that are also just as ghetto that is into men like that. They could keep them. But this goes to show you how lost so many black people are in this country. Dealing with ignorant ghetto black neighbors. I've had the most drama. My last apartment, my last place before the house that I'm renting in right now. My kids, of course, they make noises, they're kids. One night, I'm minding my business. I think I was playing video games. I don't know what the heck I was doing. I was just minding my business. I was doing my thing. My wife was minding her business as well. It was around 7, 8, 9 o'clock at night. I just came home from work, or maybe I was off from work. And I heard a knock on the door. I'm like, who the heck is this at this time? And the way they knocked on the door just upsetting me, and it really changed my mood. I was like, who's this? I looked through the door, through the peephole, and I'm like, okay, why is my neighbor from downstairs up here? I opened the door, and her eyes looked like it was blood. It was like, I'm not being dramatic, sorry. Her eyes looked red. Like she was high. My female neighbor from downstairs looked like she was high. And I smelled the weed from her. She was smoking weed. And she knocked on the door. And then as I opened the door, I'm like, yes, can I help you? She was like, oh, you know, I don't know what's going on, but your kids is making too much noise. I gotta go to work. Blah, blah, you know. I just wanted to, I'll tell you that. And then she started cursing and rambling. And then she just walked off. And I'm like, what the? She didn't even give me a chance to talk. I was like, man, this is why I gotta go. And this was a quote-unquote luxury apartment. There was piss around the building. There was trash. Some parts of the buildings were better maintenance, but other than that, I had a bad experience. One of the maintenance workers, there was one time me and him had a fallout. He acted ghetto with me. There was one time he rushed into my place. True story. He made his way inside my place after I opened the door. He was like, oh, I'm trying to get my work done. I don't care about bossy. But I'm like, man, because all the time I would always tell him, hey, brother, you got to take your shoes off. That day, I don't know where his mind was at. My father-in-law was there. He even said it. He said that he is lucky that, of course, my wife is there, children are there. He did not want to fight the dude in front of us. He said he would have kicked him out right there. Ghetto is ghetto. I no longer live in this apartment complex, but those are some of the stories that I've dealt with. And that same chick that came upstairs to the same apartment to make a complaint about my kids was not even making that much noise. And I think my kids was even asleep. Yeah, my kids was probably quiet or they were either asleep. So I could tell there was something wrong with her. We were there for about a year. And when we found out that, hey, the rent is jumping up super high, it went from $1,400 to $1,600 a month. I was not even making much money. Thank God we found a place where even though we were gonna pay a little bit more on rent, we made it work. I got blessed with a higher, better paying job. I had to do what I had to do, get a second job. I took it from there. See, nothing is better than going home to a peace of mind. It's not about race. It's about character. It's about class. Black people, back then, the majority, in the 1900s versus 2024, there's a big difference. There's a big gap. How you went from being classy to being ghetto? I understand there's history behind it. A lot of black properties, black neighborhoods was destroyed by white police officers. Okay? They put drugs into black neighborhoods. I get it. They segregated us. They moved us. The welfare was introduced to us to destroy the foundation of the black home. I get it. And this is where we are today. But now, it's up to us as individuals to change that mindset and actually be like, do I want to live this way or do I want to make a change for myself? Because I'm just going to be honest with you, dealing with ghetto black neighbors, no matter where you go, you can always take Pookie out the hood, but you can't take the hood out of Pookie. I'm dealing with this right now. Now you see why I tell people all the time, I am pushing to be a homeowner. And I'm going to look for the most inexpensive home that I could find, where I can have a peace of mind and some security to not deal with anyone's drama or ignorance or have to worry about what neighbor am I going to have next to me? What kind of neighbor am I going to have in front of me? Because the house I currently live in right now, in the neighborhood, it's a tight street. There's barely any space to park. It's in an HOA community. So people are definitely, a lot of people is not going to follow the rules, especially my black neighbors that lives across the street from me. The Pookie and Ray Ray that I brought up, that I had a problem with since day one, I never spoke to till this day. It seemed like he's being taken care of. I don't know if that's his baby mom that's taking care of him, because since day one, I even noticed some of the signs that there's a woman who's dressed in scrubs. It looks like she's either a doctor, a nurse practitioner. I don't know what kind of registered nurse she is. I don't know if she's a doctor. I don't know. I don't know if she has a doctorate in being a nurse. I don't know. But all I know is there's a woman in scrubs that's coming and going out the house at certain times. Because I'm watching, I'm observing. I put two and two together. The brother's always sitting on the same porch, smoking, drinking. Always on the phone. He's a bum. He's a bum. And I got confirmation from my left neighbor on the left side that he has a son. His son is a kid. And your son is caught in other people's lawns, other people's backyards, being sneaky, stealing other people's bikes, being a thief. And I even caught it with my own 2 eyes. There's no class or civilization or not even civilization, but like there's no structure or character when it comes down to Pookie and Ray Ray. You could take Pookie out the hood, but you can't take the hood out of Pookie. There's just some people that are about that life. And those are the type of people that I stay and keep away from. I pray to God the next time that I move in the future to not go through this. This is why so many people that got money, they rather pay more to have a peace of mind. They don't care what they got to pay. Okay, I got to pay 10 or 20% more in rent just to have a peace of mind. I don't mind doing that. The messed up part is that whenever it's Christmas, whenever it's holidays, I don't celebrate no holidays. Okay? Due to my religious reasons, I don't celebrate holidays. I don't participate on any holidays or anything like that, right? Every time 4th of July comes, when they got a birthday party, when it's Christmas time, when it's Thanksgiving, these same neighbors in front of me, they will bring most of their families over. Their black ghetto family members would take up the whole strip, all the space in front of my house. Thank God they don't ever park in the parking lot, because I would call the cops. Because the street is so tight. It's house to house to house. House next to another house next to another house. They don't care. They don't follow HOA rules. They don't care. Ignorant ghetto. Now you see why I always say, hey, I'm just trying to move. I just want to be a homeowner. I want to have my peace of mind. I want my peace. Now you understand. This is what I go through. They let their kids run around the streets. And whenever it's time for me to go shopping or go somewhere, I got to wait for them to move. They look at me like I'm stupid, like I'm lost, like I'm an alien. And I got to say, hey, guys, excuse me, you're in the way. You would expect to go to the parents. But then if you go to the ghetto parents, they'll curse you out. I spoke to other my other black coworkers about stuff like this. They could actually understand where I'm coming from. Like, oh, me and the mom and the parents would have to fight. If their kids are acting stupid and dumb and acting foolish, especially in front of my car, and I got somewhere to be, me and the parents would have to fight. This is what one of my coworkers said not too long ago. I pretty much brought up most of the stories that I've went through dealing with ignorant ghetto black people as neighbors. And I'm praying this is the last time that I go through this, because, man, it's not worth it. And this was a nice neighborhood. Looks could deceive you. I learned that, you know what, it's just better to get a house where I'm pretty much isolated from my neighbors. A few miles away is way better than having someone a few feet away from you and they're just all about drama. I'd rather them keep that same energy miles away from me, where I'm privately away from you. I got fence around me. I got my peace, protection. I'm not worried about you and you're not worried about me. This is Black America today. And there's some black people that actually have the nerve to defend the ghetto and the ignorance that comes with Black Americans. You have the nerve to defend that? Black lives matter? All lives matter. If you don't have no class, you're ghetto. If you're Asian, Hispanic, black, white, whatever you are, ghetto is ghetto. I don't want to be associated with that. I don't represent that. That's not what I represent. The media could brainwash all black people and everybody in general to say that this is how all black people are. Nah, I don't represent that. I'm separated from that group. People look at me crazy when I talk like this. But then if I talk hood or slang, then they're like, yeah. That's not something to be proud of. I was not raised that way. This is not to say that I'm better, but I'm cool with some hood dudes. But it's only the ones that are full of drama, that are full of hatred, ignorance. The one that want they want some of the things that I got, and I'm struggling. They want, oh, you got $1 on you? I've dealt with stuff like this. I got nothing else to say. This is the last part that I'm going to make, part 2 of dealing with ignorant ghetto black neighbors. Feel free to comment and let me know what you think. Peace out. Casual talk here.